everybody. Glad to have you back with us. And I have a special guest today, Dr. Geo Espinosa, well-known naturopathic doctor, expert in holistic urology, men's health. So Dr. Geo, great to have you back with us.
Thanks, Mark. Such a pleasure to be here with you again.
Absolutely. Well, tell us just a bit about your background, because you're an interesting guy. You work at NYU Langone Medical Center, which is very unique. You've got extensive trainings as a naturopathic doctor. You got an acupuncture license. You've written several books. You got a cool website, drgeo.com. You got men's health specific supplements there too. So you're really kind of the go-to guy in holistic medicine for men's health. So give us a bit more on your, incredible background.
Hey, man, so I appreciate it. Long story short, people always ask, how did you get into urology, and how did you fall into urology? And the quick answer is that urology found me. I didn't find urology. So back in naturopathic medical school, when we're doing our clinical hours, all these men, I saw more men than anyone else. I think by pure coincidence. It's not like I advertised it or anything.
Yeah.
Oh, this is cool. But I don't want to be a men's health expert. Why would I do that for? So then, fast forward a little bit, it turns out that my neighbor was a urologist. I didn't know. We played volleyball, but we met up like in the elevator here in New York. He's like, yeah, I'm a urologist. I said, wow, really? Hey, I would love for you to come because my patients would want to, and I did some internship, and I loved urology. I just fell in love with urology. Still fighting with the idea, like, why would I do urology? I mean, this is the antithesis of the naturopathic principles. We treat people, not diseases. We treat the gut, and through that, everything gets, why would I do that?
And plus women's health, I don't know about you, but it seemed like women's health was a lot more emphasized, at least when I was back in school. Now we're going back a ways. Women's health was a lot more emphasized, but was that your experience too?
That's right. So women's health, what's really happening? It was just and then I'm seeking the expert in naturopathic men's health. I couldn't find that person, right? No one else did that. So then one or two things could have happened. One could say, well, yeah, it's a good thing. Or why would you do this? There's a reason why no one else is doing this. It's because no one makes a living from this. Men don't go see doctors. So why would you do this? Anyway, I kind of went on with my gut feeling. I worked with a urologist. Then I got a great opportunity of working, I did an internship type of fellowship at Columbia University, Department of Urology under Aaron Katz. And that just kind of changed my world around. I became really good at urology. I became really good at naturopathic urology. I became really good at knowing the conventional treatments, even though I don't do any of them. And so then I learned how to work and synergistically with urologists, and it worked immensely. And I loved working in an academic setting. So once my grant came up in at Columbia, I said, oh well, I guess I'll open up a shop somewhere. And I contacted NYU, Dr. Lepore, who's the chairman, and he couldn't be more thrilled to have me. So I've been at NYU doing integrative and functional urology for 10.5 years now.
Yeah, that's incredible. Very, very, well, it's very credible. I mean, you're one of the few holistic naturopathic doctors to work in that kind of a conventional medical establishment. I mean, I think part of it's because of your training. And I think, hey, part of it must be your good personality, because these type of situations don't happen very often.
Yeah, since, like you and I and most of our colleagues, we're science-based. So we have to say, hey guys, we're not, we're not quacks, or at least most of us are not. Everything I do is science-based. Right. And so then it took me a while to present the information in a certain way, in a scientific way, that they bought into. And then the other thing that happened, quite honestly, Mark, is I figured out, wait a minute, there's some urological conditions that urologists couldn't care less to treat. Prostatitis. If you take all their prostatitis patients, they'll be the happiest people in the world, because they don't get results. They're frustrated. The patient is frustrated. It just never works. So we do our form of treatment works very well for prostatitis patients, as an example. So it just worked very well, and I couldn't be, you know, I wrote a couple of things, wrote scientific papers that presented well to the establishment, and now we do, you know, we do good work at NYU.
So you got a couple places people can see you, right? They can see you at NYU Langone Medical Center, New York City there. And then don't you have another, you have a private practice on top of that, don't you, on the island, or?
So as a result of the COVID pandemic, I don't anymore.
Oh, okay.
Not because it wasn't busy there. It was because, you know, what quarantining did for many of us is, all right, let's sit back, let's clear our minds, and let's think of what we're doing right, what we're doing wrong, where we could put more energy into, and where should we put less energy into. So I figured that, you know, it was fine driving to Connecticut and things like that, but I wanted to put all my focus into my NYU clinic and some interesting things, redoing my website, drgeo.com. I just, there's another book coming out that is going to come out in September, myself, just like yours. Well, yours is coming out later on. Mine is on the PSA test specifically. So everything you want to know about the PSA test so that people stress less over this biomarker. So I wanted to hone in on these projects, and look, I'm doing more telehealth, and if I'm doing more telehealth, there's no reason for me to, you know, have an office in Stanford. So it just made more sense. So I'm at NYU now, and I do telehealth with patients from all over the world.
Yeah, that's great. And I know drgeo.com, drgeo.com.
drgeo.com. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, very busy website for men's health. We get the wives going there, and the men going there for prostate enlargement, prostatitis, prostate cancer, prevention and treatment, and testing, all that stuff. So let me ask you this, and I also want to let the viewers know, we're going to have several other segments with Dr. Geo on men's health. We're going to talk about prostate issues. We're going to talk about testosterone deficiency, natural products to treat these things, other conditions. So look for those videos. But Dr. Geo, integrative medicine for urology, men's health, prostate, erectile function, libido, all these men's health issues. In a general sense, give the viewers an idea of how effective your integrative approaches are using nutrition and supplements and herbs and stress reduction techniques. How effective are these things overall?
Okay, so I teach students to understand that they're biased. As doctors, they're biased. And the goal is to manage your bias, because at the end of the day, what you care to do is do best for your patient. All right. So I'm answering that by saying I'm biased. I drank the Kool-Aid on naturopathic and functional medicine. Right. So if I'm able to manage my biases as I give you an answer, I would say this. I think that most of us would agree that as a whole in medicine, we do poorly with chronic diseases, right? We do very well with acute diseases, car accidents, broken bone, surgical procedures. We do great. With chronic conditions, we do poorly as a whole. And I think that's where things like integrative functional and naturopathic medicine, that's where we fit in. These chronic conditions that don't go away, and we're trying to identify the cause, right? So the cause is anything but, you know, it's often anything related to, you know, stress and the biological changes that occur in the body as we stress or distress or undergo distress. Diet, look, some people do poorly with poor diets. Most people do poorly with poor diets. But even like, you know, look, every now and then I see somebody coming with prostatitis and they also have irritable bowel syndrome, as an example. I cannot ignore that they have IBS.
Right.
Oh, just treat the prostate. Well, no, I have to treat the individual for him to do better. So I do, let's say, a FODMAP diet, which is a low, you know, all kinds of glucose type of diet. Even some of the healthy foods that most people would eat, that's typically in a FODMAP, and that you would not eat in a FODMAP diet. So I think it's very important in that scenario to put them on such a diet that actually a lot of vegetables you cannot eat under a FODMAP diet because it promotes IBS, as an example. So food and diet is very important. You know, the right dietary supplements for the right person at the right dose works incredibly well, right? Herbs and botanicals that we've used for hundreds of years, they work well. It wasn't that they worked before the modern day medicine and then they stopped working all of a sudden. No, they've worked well for many years, and sometimes they don't work, and why they don't work depends on many things. Are you using the right botanical? Are you using the right dose, right timing, all these things? So botanicals work very well, and key nutrients, you know, also molecular medicine works very well, right? Then of course is prescriptive exercise. So it's not just, hey, get on a treadmill 30 minutes, that's it. You know, prescriptive. You know, so if they have prostatitis, they need to do milder exercise like yoga and stretches. If they have, you know, if they're on prostate cancer with hormone deprivation therapy, they need to do weight resistant exercises 3 times a week, you know. And so you individualize the prescription, and you become very specific. And then of course sleep and all these things. So, you know, pretty much with most of my patients is looking, you know, what we're trying to do is get the crap out of their body and put good things in their body. Same with thoughts and nutrients and botanicals. Bad thoughts out, good thoughts in. Bad things out, good nutrients in. Exercise, and they do, you know, they do very well. So in a nutshell, that's sort of in a nutshell, a lot of puns in this conversation. They do very well, just really following the principles of naturopathic and functional medicine.
Absolutely. I think doctors like yourselves, and I see a fair amount of men's health too, fill a niche that isn't being met in medicine in general. So a lot of men are being helped by that. And again, we recommend the viewers go to drgeo.com. I mean, lots of information. He's got a great blog with updated cutting edge information on men's health, many different categories, both from a diagnostic viewpoint, a treatment viewpoint. So very good. And we're going to have further videos with Dr. Geo on different aspects of men's health, from the prostate to hormone balance to what kind of diet and supplements he likes to use. So look for those videos. And again, check out drgeo.com. And thank you for watching. Thank you, Dr. Geo, for being on.
Thank you.